Did you know that everything you're doing today is going to impact the quality of the eggs that you're going to release in 3 months from now? The good news is you have time to start preparing today to influence the eggs that you're going to ovulate in 3 months' time. 3 to 4 months before ovulation, an egg cell, or also what's called a follicle, begins to grow in size and mature. That growing follicle needs nutrients and energy from its surrounding environment to grow properly, stay healthy, and potentially most importantly, be of good quality. So by improving your diet and lifestyle in the 3 to 4 months leading up to ovulation of that cycle, right? Not ovulation now, ovulation then, you can dramatically impact the quality of the eggs that you are going to be using on any given cycle, and hopefully impact the quality and health of the pregnancy that is going to ensue. This is so powerful of a concept. It means that you directly have impact and influence over the eggs that you are going to be ovulating and the health of the child that you're going to create. Amazing, right? Well, that's exactly what I want to cover and talk about today in this episode of Fertility TV. My name is Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the fertility expert, and I've been working with couples for over 19 years through my online coaching programs, Fertility TV, that's right here on Fertility TV, and in my clinics here in San Diego. And egg quality is always an important topic and one that I'm always discussing on a daily basis. This channel, Fertility TV, is about making fertility information accessible to everybody so that you can get the results that you need. So how could I not talk about egg quality, which is also why we're talking about today, but I have many other videos on this topic as well, because it's such an important topic and a topic that you all ask for on a regular basis. Many of you have been misled, misguided, your hope stripped away from you because you've been told that your egg quality is no good or you don't have enough eggs to get pregnant. Well, I do believe that that's not necessarily true, and I also believe that you have the power to influence that. So we need to address that and empower all of you. In addition, you all have the power. I have a mission to inform as many women as possible, to educate you on how to improve your fertility. And you have the power to help all of those couples throughout the world as well by liking this video and by commenting below and letting us know what you liked about it and what really impacted you, what hit your heart the most from this video. And let's help more women. So diet and fertility, and specifically diet and egg quality, is so valuable and so important. It's also why I talk about it so often in many of my videos, because so many of you are looking for that quick fix, and diet is not, unfortunately, a quick fix. It takes a lot of practice and effort and dedication on your part to make those improvements, but those improvements can really dramatically impact the quality of all the cells in your body, your overall health, and your reproductive function. So it's not that I don't believe and support the use of supplements, but we can't do that and ignore diet and ignore the importance of diet and what needs to be done there. So this video is really going to be focused on what you can do nutritionally to improve the egg quality of the eggs that you're going to be using from cycle to cycle. Okay, so some key nutritional basics that I think are really important when we are dealing with overall health and fertility and really trying to impact the quality of the cells. So we're trying to impact the mitochondrial function, cellular aging, and these things are dramatically impacted by inflammation. I'm going to get into it in a little bit in terms of foods to avoid when it comes to inflammation and how we need to look at this, but we're really dramatically trying to decrease the inflammatory response in the body because we don't want inflammation in the body. And we're also trying to support our immune function as well. These are key concepts that need to be addressed in your diet. Some other basic nutritional foundational things that I like to recommend is that we all are often looking at what food exactly should I be eating or not eating. And I like all of us to take a step back and think about the quality of the food that you're eating. In many ways, quality is going to be much more important than the specific nutrients that you're eating. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, but if you are not eating good quality food, that's going to be a major issue. So what exactly do I mean by this? Well, we can all eat eggs or beef or chicken or fish or whatever item of food it is. But if I give one of you farm-raised salmon with antibiotics and hormones, and I give the other one of you wild salmon that doesn't have any of those things, no food coloring, no chemicals, who do you think is going to fare better in that situation? The person who was given the farm-raised salmon or the person who was given the wild salmon that was caught in the Pacific Northwest or Alaska? That's right. That person who was eating the wild salmon, because it's more natural. We didn't add anything to it. And these things are so important. We forget that when we go food shopping. So organic, wild, pasture-raised meat products, organic vegetables, these things start to go to the top of the list. Quality is so important here. I also recognize that for many of you, you can't always spend that money on the quality of the food. So we do have to make choices. And if you have to make choices, then above all, the foods that you should be spending more money on to get better quality are anything that comes from an animal, whether that's fish, chicken, meat, whatever it is. Any of those items should absolutely be at the top of the list of being, whether it's wild, organic, pasture-raised, whatever that delineation is for each type of food, then that's where you should be when we start talking about quality. Quality is so important, okay? Additionally, when we're talking about quality is GMOs, genetically modified foods. I want you guys to avoid those things. Does it sound right? You're going to be consuming food that is genetically modified. In today's day and age, we shouldn't have to resort to that, and you shouldn't. I don't want genetically modified food in my body. You shouldn't either, okay? So we need to get rid of that as well. And then the other big one is avoiding pesticides, which is why we want organic food, okay? Pesticides can cause all sorts of havoc on our endocrine system, not to mention that they can also contribute to cancer. So we don't want those things. So when I start talking about quality of food, this is exactly what I mean. If you do nothing else that I mentioned in this video, but change the quality of the food that you eat to better quality, you will dramatically impact your health, your fertility, and your endocrine system, not to mention the health of the child that you're trying to create. All right, so previously I talked about inflammation. Before I talk about inflammation though, I have to acknowledge the little one sitting behind me. It's not like he just came into the picture. He was sitting over there before and he just moved. So inflammation wreaks havoc on any issue that we have. Fertility is no different. So how do we start to avoid and reduce the inflammatory process in our body? Well, we eat whole foods. We also talk about quality of the food just a minute ago. That will dramatically reduce inflammation as well. But a couple other things that you can do to be on top of that a little bit more is reduce and eliminate artificial sweeteners and reduce added sugars, that any sugar that you add into products, get rid of that. Gluten's also a big inflammatory item. It causes a lot of inflammation in the body. So I want to have you eliminate, if you can't totally eliminate gluten, then dramatically reduce. I think this is a good place for me to also mention that it's not always about being perfect. Progress is what we're looking for, not perfection. I say this often, it's no more true when we start talking about diet. So really don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect. Just make sure that you're being better the next day and that you're always improving, which is called progress. Other foods that you can incorporate that will help with this as well and boost your immune system is fermented foods, which I love. So that's kefir and that's sauerkraut, kimchi. The word was escaping me. So these are all great things, okay, to add into your diet. And bone broth. You've probably heard me say this over and over, but I love bone broth. It's so good for us. It has tons of great nutrients. It's amazing for our immune system and has tons of healthy fat. So those are some key things that you can be adding in right now to work on having a more whole food diet, to reducing inflammation and supporting your immune function. I do have a fertility food pyramid, which is a bit different than what you're used to seeing in terms of the standard American diet, which I don't agree with that food pyramid. This food pyramid that you're seeing on the screen right now is really based on a lot of the same concepts I just mentioned. We've got the whole foods at the bottom, and we build upon that. Right? You've got soup and fermented foods and so forth right along the bottom. And then you're building, you've got your meats and your veggies and so forth all along the top. And what you see at the top of the pyramid is actually the grains, which you didn't hear me talk about very much because I don't want you having too many of those because they can cause inflammation for a lot of us. So grains, which falls into that gluten category, is at the top, which means you have very little to none of those items. You've often heard me say that I believe in customization or personalization or having a unique plan for you. Diet is no different, but I do often get the question of, well, how much, what percentage of this or that should I eat? I'm going to give you some general guidelines, but the reality is we need to find the right combination for you. And that is very, very important. I think one of the things that's going to surprise you is how much fat you should be consuming. So protein and carbs are 30% each, and then fat is 40%. Again, we do need to customize this for each one of us, but that is the general rule that I like to give. And when I do talk about carbs, that 30% really should be made up of a bulk of vegetables. Okay, that is where I prefer for that to come from because we don't tend to eat enough vegetables in our diet. I want more vegetables, I want more fat, good quality fat, and good quality protein to make up the essence of every meal. The other question that I get asked a lot is, well, how frequently should I be eating? Should I be fasting? I will say for most of us, we probably shouldn't be fasting, or at least not on a consistent basis. Okay, and I do think that's important. Maybe occasionally or once a week, but not on a regular basis unless we've customized a plan for you that does fit that in. And there are many of you that would be appropriate for, but I don't think it's for everybody. In general, my rule of thumb in terms of consuming food is that we wake up and within an hour of waking, we have breakfast. Maybe 2-3 hours later, depending on how you're feeling, you have a snack. Then from there, you have your lunch, which is a bigger meal. Another 2 or 3 hours later, again, you have a snack mid-afternoon, you have your dinner at a reasonable time, let's say 6 or 7, and then maybe an additional snack before bed, but typically not. And so spacing it out like that means you're getting enough nutrients and enough nutrition throughout the day to feed our cells and to give our hormones the proper nutrition they need and to hopefully have proper hormonal balance. Again, we do all need a specific plan for ourselves, which might allow us to fall into certain, diet plans or crazes that are going around these days. But in general, those are my guidelines. Now, one of the other valuable things that we didn't talk about is water. Water is extremely important. Okay, many of us are dehydrated. We don't drink enough water. That's no good for our cells because our cells are primarily filled with water. They need more fluid in that cell to stay nice and healthy and supple and hydrated. Think about 2 different foods that are the exact same thing. Think about a grape, which has a lot of juice and a lot of water, very hydrated, and think about a raisin, which is dehydrated, right? Doesn't have any. What would you rather your cells look like? A raisin or a grape? We prefer the grape, okay? So that means you need to drink more. Stay away from too many dehydrating foods. Stay away from the sodas, the juices, all of those things. Drink water. And specifically, drink half your body weight in ounces. That's what we're striving for, which for many of us is about 2 liters of water. Okay, my favorite way to do that is to get a liter bottle of water. Should be stainless steel or glass, by the way, to eliminate any chemicals and toxins. And you've got to drink 2 of those in a day at minimum to hydrate your body. That makes it so much easier than trying to count these guys, right? That's much harder. So make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you eat a whole food balanced diet. And one of the best ways to know that you're doing that is keeping a diet log. That's right. I want you guys to start to keep track of the food you're eating. Write it down every day so you can look back on it and reflect and recognize, I did great here, I didn't do so well here, I can be better there, so the next day you can be better. It's really easy. Just have a pad of paper and start to document everything you need. With our smartphones, you can also do it there. There's plenty of apps that will help you in that department. Wow, that was a lot of information. Hopefully you all found a lot of value in this video, and hopefully you took something new and informative from this video that you're gonna start to incorporate in your daily routine tomorrow. So I want to hear from all of you. What is it that you're going to take from this video? How are you going to change your diet for the better so that you could have better eggs in 90 to 100 days? Comment below and let me know. What's that going to look like? And if you want to know if you're on the right diet plan, or more importantly, and potentially better, if you want a customized nutritional plan for your needs to get you the results that you want based on your lab results, then I want to encourage you to apply to join my Hope Fertility coaching program. All you have to do is fill out the application to see if you qualify. You can use the link in the description below to do that. All right, everyone, one quick last reminder to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you subscribe by hitting that bell and getting notified when I put out a new video for all of you. All right, everyone, until the next video, stay fertile.